Hello, welcome back to the Heated Bench podcast. We've made it to episode 8. I'm joined again by co-host Alex. Alex, how are we doing?
All good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, mate. A little bit tired this week, so I could be a little bit grumpy for some of the topics that are about to arise. So, grade A viewing, I think, might be on the case. This week we're going to go a little bit sideways and do something a little bit different. I believe you've got some topics and some debates for us to dive into, so you're going to take the lead a little bit more this week and throw some questions at me for a change.
Yeah, so I've just made just some generic questions, generic debate topics that either spark a debate or have a bit of controversy around them that we can go back and forth with. And then at the end of each kind of summary, I'm going to give you like a little bit of a rating, whether I agree with you, think, yeah, what he said's fair, or I'm just going to say you've had an absolute stinker, which I hope you've had a few stinkers, to be fair.
Knowing me, mate, there'll be more than one stinker in there.
And as well, you don't know these topics, so I think that'll be good because we can just go just off the cuff, first things that come to your mind, and we just go for it, yeah?
Yep, very raw emotion, so yeah, good.
I've just based the generic topics, but yeah, I don't want you thinking too much of these. I just want you going bang, bang, bang. First things that come to your mind. So I'm going to start as pretty generic as you can get. Your top 5 go athletes / sportsmen of all time.
Ooh.
Off the cuff, bosh.
What? So top 5 athletes as in like highest achievers, or are we talking like who most influential on and off the sport, or just like generic like top level goats of all time?
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to include kind of off the field stuff because I mean like there's some amazing sportsmen who have done so much off the sport, like away from their sport, but they're never going to be considered for like GOAT stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So in sport,
just like achievements,
top level athletes, right?
Yeah, achievements, longevity, everything really. So yeah, your top 5 off the cuff, bosh.
Right. All right. Number 1, I'm going to have to go Messi. Most people will know that I'm a bit of a Ronaldo fan in the Messi and Ronaldo debate, but I think recent times sort of Messi's probably put a little bit more of a stamp on that. I think Ronaldo's still just all about him, and every time I see clips of him now, it's a little bit frustrating just seeing the same shit over and over again. It's the Ronaldo show, which I suppose it's always been a little bit like that. But on that topic, obviously, Ronaldo would probably have to be number 2 for me.
Right, I'm gonna write these down. By the way, might come to them at the end, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, so Messi 1, Ronaldo 2 in terms of football. I don't think any sport really gets around the world quite like football does. So for me, those take the lead on that.
Agreed.
There's so many ways you can go with this, isn't there?
Exactly. That's why I didn't want to tell you anything.
Yeah. So for me personally, in the sports I like, and the sports I look to, I would probably say next.
Don't think you necessarily have to do it in order, but just
yeah. Necessary. All right then. So not necessarily in order then. Obviously, being a big American football guy, and I'm pretty sure this is one that you would have semi-expected to. I think Tom Brady has to come in that. For a guy that was told pretty much all the way through that, well, not all the way through, but told at the start of his career, it's too slow, not got the athletic ability that obviously some of the other players had, picked up super late in the draft and turned out to be the greatest of all time. Carried that Patriots team to numerous Super Bowl wins, just like overall aura around sport. I mean, I know American sports are confined to America a lot more than they are globally, but I think Tom Brady's achievements put him up there as like some of the greatest of all time.
Yeah. And then, to be fair, he won it with the Bucks, didn't he, against Mahomes, and people were saying this is kind of the
The
new kid on the
yeah,
block.
the
He'll
passing
be
of the
taking the
torch sort of
mantle,
thing.
and
Yeah.
then he did him over, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And to be fair, if you look at that year, in fact, I actually watched a podcast today that Shaquille O'Neal does, and Tom Brady was the guest. And Shaq was sort of basically saying, like, that season, like Tom Brady's final season, he threw for 40 plus touchdowns. So at Tom Brady's final season, he was at peak level performance at like 43. He won a Super Bowl at 43. Like, what kind of sportsmen have that longevity? So I think as a unique one for that, I think Brady probably has to be in there for me. Again, keeping it American sports, I think probably my final two both come from America. Tiger Woods, obviously. I think what Tiger did for golf is pretty outrageous. His achievements. I mean, I'm not a huge golf fan. I couldn't list you all his golfing achievements. But the reason that I know of golf or have I ever had any interest in golf is sort of based around Tiger. Those sort of magic moments that get played back over and over again. Obviously, the Masters, the outrageous shots around the world. Every big tournament he played in, he won. And for someone so dominant in their sport for so long, and then to be like sort of the first black guy as well to be putting like at the top level of golf, if you know what I mean, sort of breaking barriers alongside it when golf's still one of those sports that has a few traditions that aren't really ideal or sort of keep holding people back. It's only very recently that obviously golf started opening up a little bit more, that to come into the sport at that level and break barriers and be as successful as he was.
I know you mentioned about how they've influenced the sport off the field, and obviously Tiger's like one of the epitomes of that with probably Jordan and Ali, but like there used to be stories of Tiger when he used to rock up to like the golf clubs or the country clubs as a kid and as a young adult, and the members and the visitors used to think he was a caddy.
Yeah.
Because caddies were like traditionally were black at a lot of clubs. None other than Augusta, that was their policy for years. So they used to either think he was the caddy or a cleaner or whatever, and then just
Rock
he
up
really
and
changed the
dominate.
mold of it all.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
So I think Tiger has to go in there for me, and then you've just mentioned the other one who probably make my top five in Michael Jordan. To be fair, same sort of scenario. Obviously, black players were more included in basketball than they were other sports, but that guy just like, I watched the documentary that I think it was Netflix did. Just like inspirational. Like even watching it as a non-basketball fan was like, wow, you can really understand the achievements and what this guy went through to be the top level. And I think his teammates and anyone that ever got the chance to play against him felt his aura, felt his presence, and it was a little bit. I mean, it's not really comparable, but like a little bit like with the Phil Taylor and Luke Littler in the darts, like teams would have lost basically because they were playing Michael Jordan before they'd even stepped on the court. So, it
was quite. There was a point in Jordan's career where he was the best attacker and the best defender in the world. Can you imagine that in like in footballing terms?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, that is mental.
I do just want to throw a few mentions in there. Obviously, that was my top five, but I do want to throw a few mentions. Lewis Hamilton for me, F1. Again, it's sort of that breaking barrier thing, but Lewis's longevity, what he's done for the sport, like, still to this day, people question how good Lewis Hamilton is.
Yeah.
And it's not questionable. He is unbelievable. His achievements are outrageous. Obviously, barring the one season where he was robbed of the title, in my opinion, that would have cemented him as the greatest of all time. yes, there
Well,
are.
he should have won the championship. He should have won it in his debut season.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
had an engine failure
In the
on
final,
the like,
second last
yeah,
race or final race, I can't remember which one
the
it
final
was.
race.
Yeah, which effectively cost him. How many kids walk into a sport like F1 where you have to have so much money, you have to have so much sponsorship, talent isn't just the be all and end all of being in that sport, and the guy's been in it for so long. And okay, the last couple of years it's not gone well. I mean, the Mercedes car was sort of falling off the cliff. He made the big move to Ferrari. They're not really competitive, and he's lost out to Charles whilst doing it. But for me, he has to go in that topic of conversation. And then obviously a couple more that I have to mention them, but I could never put them in the class because I can't stand the sport, would be people like Nadal, Federer, Djokovic in tennis, because again, the way that those guys have dominated that sport for so long is like admirable, and the achievements that they've got. But it's just a fucking nonsense sport. So it's fucking. I can't, mate. I can't have it. I can't ever like. I'm not a big rugby fan, right? But when the Six Nations on, I can sit and watch the sport and be like, really understand what's happening, the magnitude of it, like, and really appreciate the art of it. Tennis, I can't do it. I just see it as kids playing on a fucking playground, whacking a ball at each other. That's naive from me to say, but I just can't. I don't get the sport, and I don't think it's a big sport.
It's never been a big cup of tea of mine. I think one thing for me that I dislike about tennis is like nobody talks about it for me all year, and then as soon as we get to Wimbledon, everybody jumps on Wimbledon. Oh, I love
Yeah.
Wimbledon. Wimbledon's amazing, and yeah, it's a great event. But like, you can't pretend then you're into tennis. You've shown no interest in the Australian Open, the French Open.
I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you every year. If it got to December every year, right, and you said to me who's won all the majors in tennis, I might be able to, at a push, I might be able to tell you who's won Wimbledon. That's it.
Yeah,
and that's because it's on our shores, and that's about it. But fucking nonsense, mate. Nonsense.
Obviously, you're a big fighting fan. Is there any fighters you'd like to throw in there? Obviously, like Ali, Khabib,
I mean,
some UFC fighters maybe. Or...
I mean, Ali's career speaks for itself, but I wasn't around for that, so it's hard for me to have the impression. Yeah. I've watched pretty much all of his fights. I've seen the way he is, but for people like that, you have to be in the moment. Mike Tyson's another one as well. I'd have loved to have seen him in his heyday, the hype around him, the way that, like, you know, sort of like when Joshua first came through the ranks and he was knocking people out, and that it was built up like this guy is going to be fucking ridiculous, and you bought into the hype and you really wanted to be involved in it. After seeing that after somebody's career is hard for me to elevate them, which is kind of hypocritical, because I've just said people like Jordan, who I didn't watch an awful lot of. But, like, it's just the whole package with people like that, isn't it? Whereas, like, once a boxer's career's done, it's done.
Yeah. Do you know what I think? I was just thinking then, like, obviously you've got sportsmen, like, you've got, like, your Michael Phelps and your Usain Bolts, who have fucking been amazing in their own field. But for me, like, track and field and Olympic events, it's like they work towards that sport every 4 years, whereas, like your Messi and Ronaldos and like Tiger Woods and Jordans, well, we're having to do it every week. They're on stage every week. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like, I'm not taking any away from a Phelps. He's the greatest Olympian of all time, and he's a fucking human. He's human sharp. But like, his pressures only come around once every 4 years.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Messi and like Ronaldo and Tigers, their pressures are it's every week. They're on stage.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
You know what I mean?
Obviously, they have events within their sports, the European Championships, and the equivalent to whatever the Americas. But like, but like you say, being in the public eye, top level, like their pinnacle of sport every week. Like they say, their pinnacle of sport comes every 4 years.
Mate, those athletes aren't judged on what they do in their other events in the
No,
years
exactly.
and around it. They're judged on the Olympics, and you could then argue, well, actually, is there more pressure on them because they've almost got like that 1 month to go at it? But I just think in team sports, you have to perform every week. You're on stage, particularly football, because like
Well, the thing is,
they never get a break in football.
well,
It's 10, 11 months.
well, the difference between a team sport and an individual sport like that is that, like you say, the pressure might be there. The magnitude of the pressure for that one-off occasion may be more than
Yeah,
like playing every week. But like you say, if you support a football club and you've got, I don't know, what does Nou Camp hold? 60, 70,000, 80,000 maybe?
New Camp, about
Yeah.
100 in it.
Was it? So if
Yeah,
the Nou Camp's got 100,000 people sat on top of you every week, scrutinising everything you do in the biggest jobs, like
yeah,
for the biggest team in the world against the other biggest teams in the world, like you are under pressure to perform, and if you don't perform, it's coming up straight back to your shoulders.
yeah,
And it's like you could sort of use it with like with boxing and stuff like that. That okay, these boxers probably have to build their career up, but then when they step into that elite level, the pressure is on every time because it's kill or be killed.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah, for
mean?
sure. Yeah,
So,
definitely. There's
so
no next chance like there is in next
yeah.
week, right?
Well,
There is in
look
football,
at
isn't it? To be
AJ.
fair.
They built him up here. He stepped into the ring with on an off chance with Ruiz. He gets dropped, loses the fight. All of a sudden, his career's like this, and he's no longer in the
Yeah,
conversation. And it's like that pressure of not just getting physically hurt, like the pressure of
yeah,
having to perform in front of 100,000 people at Wembley on the biggest stage. It could be a November night where it's fucking freezing outside, but he's got to make this big entrance and walk to the ring. Pressure's on because at the other side of the ring there's a guy that's trying to take your head off, and you're trying to hold the fucking public every time you step in the
yeah,
ring.
yeah.
It's just not comparable. Like,
Yeah, it's hard to compare across other sports and their events and stuff like that, which is why it's good to have these debates. But I think you did all right there. I tell you what, I'd definitely have Messi in there. I mean, everybody knows I'm a massive Messi fan. I'd have Woods in there. I'd have Jordan in there. I'm not offended by either Brady or Ronaldo, but I don't really think too much of what my list would be. But no, I think that's fair.
I would
Like
just
you
say,
say,
for the fighting side of things as well, talking the UFC, John Jones and GSP would have to have a mention in that as well
yeah,
for me. GSP overall game and and taking the sport, um, dominating the sport when it was in a position where it was struggling, which is
yeah.
amazing. Probably kept people involved, and then obviously John Jones, youngest champion ever, and just dominated every fight he ever fought. So they would probably go in there for their craft as well.
Fair enough. Just you've got other sports as well. Like you've obviously got like your Phil Taylors, your Ronnies, and those kind of guys. But the sports are they're not
They're just not
popular
big
enough, are
enough,
they,
are
to
they?
fall into these
Yeah.
debates? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that falls nicely onto the next topic then, which is your top five sporting events.
Ooh, ho, ho. Uh, am I going here? What I think people would consider the top five, or my top five?
Yeah, go on. Give me your top five. So the events you look forward to. Or yeah, go on then.
Yeah, all right then. So I've sort of fell
Not
out.
really going to be controversial because it's just your opinion, but go on
Yeah,
then.
so I've fell out of love a little bit with football. So the big events for me now are probably, it's hard because I don't get super excited for the Champions League final anymore.
Well, your Super Bowl's in there, isn't it? So we'll
Yeah,
not the
so
Super Bowl now.
so I love American football, so Super Bowl's in there for me. A big event, obviously, that I really enjoy as well is Cheltenham for the horse racing. So
Yeah, I know you like Cheltenham.
that would be in there for me. Super Bowl, Cheltenham. Obviously the World Darts Championship. That's one to
Yeah,
me. The Ashes would
yeah,
be in there for me. And I don't know. I'm struggling with a fifth. Probably just any like international cricket tournament, probably.
Cricket World Cup.
Cricket World Cup, or the One Day World Cup, T20 World Cup, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that wouldn't be my list. I would have obviously like the World Cup final, Champions League final, but I love it. And one of my favourite weeks of the year. What do you think? And this is a bit controversial, but I love it. And I've gone on about it in the group all week.
I'm not sure. Go on.
Third round of the FA Cup.
Oh,
It's
don't
fucking,
give me this
it's
fucking shit. Don't
It's
give me
fucking
this
brilliant.
shit.
It's
It's
fucking. We've just had the
oh
biggest upset in in cup history. We've had. They were playing what league? They weren't even playing National League North or South last year or whatever it was, and they've just beat Maxfield. I don't even think they're Maxfield Town anymore. Macclesfield Football Club or whatever, and they've just beat the holders of the cup, and they're only formed 5 years ago. It's brilliant, the
yeah,
FA Cup. I honestly love
yeah.
it.
And
It's been diluted a bit with the money that's gone into the Premier League now and getting these European places, but I love the third round of the Cup. I think it's brilliant.
mate, they're about to go into, but they'll go to Brentford and get dick next round, and no one will give a fuck.
I don't care.
I
It were
don't.
brilliant.
It
were brilliant.
It's just not. No one gives a fuck. Right. Let
Yeah,
me
they
put
do,
it out
'cause
for
I
you.
care.
No one gives a fuck about cup football anymore until it gets to the quarters or semis. No one
No,
cares.
because the lower league clubs care. It's
The lower league.
good for them.
It's a mate. Like, don't get me wrong. This achievement that Maxfields have done, Stags beating Sheffield United. I don't know if there was any other big shocks.
And also, let me just say as well, this was a bit of a controversial thing at the time, but there was a big thing when they took the replays off. Now, I think that's just added to the cut because also, don't forget, the lower league teams play more games than the Premier League. They play 40-odd games, so they don't want to replay unless it's against a Big Six club. So it means they can have more of a go at it now, and I just think it's brilliant, the third round.
Like, I give you your dues to a degree. Like, the moments that can come from it are fantastic. I will give you that. These underdog stories of small clubs beating big Premier League teams. And let's be real, Palace had a side out that should have won that comfortably. They had first-team players starting. Whilst they had quite a lot of changes, but they had to go to their...
Yeah.
They had to go to Macclesfield. They had to do a job. They didn't do it. They lost. Brilliant story. Everyone's looking forward to the next round. If Brentford go there and pump them 4-0 next round, everyone's like, well, all
Just
right.
think you don't get the level of upsets that you get in the FA Cup compared to other sports. In my opinion.
The FA Cup's massive for those teams because realistically, Carabao Cup people are going to just play. Everybody knows in the Carabao Cup people are going to play weakened sides because till they get to the semi-final, it's not really worth it, sort of thing. The FA Cup has that bit of magic about it, and I'd have loved to have been around in the era, properly understanding and following football in that area, that era that your dad or your granddad talks about, where they're like, fucking hell, like the magic of the FA Cup, you've got these big pitches, you've got small teams thundering into challenges, and you might get a scrappy goal, and then they're holding on, and there's red cards and yellow cards and all that. But the way football's played now, I just can't buy into it.
I know, I get your point. They used to do when they had the FA Cup finals at the old Wembley. They used to have like coverage time starting at like 9 a.m, and they used to have like footage of the players coming in from like the hotels and then on the buses into the ground, and it was just brilliant. But yeah, it's lost a bit of it, but I loved it the weekend. I thought it was great. We'll just fly through these a bit quicker because I'm conscious of time already. Next one you've touched on a bit already, just Messi or Ronaldo?
I've always been a Ronaldo fan personally. I think Ronaldo, it's such a controversial thing because no matter what I say, someone's going to bite back at. But I always thought that Ronaldo was the ultimate player. I thought Messi was the ultimate team player. That's how I saw it. I think Ronaldo And I'm sure people are going to jump on, fact check me, send stats, let me know I'm fucking deluded, etc., etc. But I just thought that if you wanted someone to produce a moment of magic and win you a game, it would be Ronaldo. If you needed someone to grab it by the scruff of the neck and be that guy, it would be Ronaldo. I think Messi fit into that Barca team brilliantly, and as I've said before, controversial opinion, but I could have scored 10 up top for that Barca team. So,
Christ.
yeah, I just side for Ronaldo, but I think recency bias that I am
Can
pendulum back
understand
towards
you
Messi.
prefer Ronaldo in terms of like you prefer like maybe that style, or you just prefer the ethic, and do you know what I mean? But like in term, I can't buy people who generally think he's a better player than Messi. That's kind of where I draw the line at it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I say,
Then
it depends on how you see football, doesn't it? Like, for me, everything Ronaldo does is what excites me about football. Everything that Messi does is everything that I hate about football to a degree. Like, I know there are clips where people are trying to wipe Messi out and he's dancing through them and all this and that. But the style of football, like I say, that they played at that Barca squad suited Messi. Yes, the squad was built around him because he is that ridiculous. But that whole package just made him that that. It didn't make him that level, but it kept him at that level. I think Ronaldo was, like you say, work ethic is what pushed him to that level. I'm not saying Messi doesn't have that, but I think for Ronaldo, for that debate to have gone on for so long and be so close, when in my eyes Messi always had the support, Ronaldo not necessarily always had the same level of support.
and with that, you've officially had your first stinker. Well done, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah, cheers, pal.
Which kind of moves on to a bit of a sort of debate. It's kind of following on from that. Does winning the World Cup matter? And what I'm kind of mean by that is it is obviously legacy defining, but for those who haven't won a World Cup, does it matter? Do you know what I mean?
It matters for me as an England fan.
Well, yeah, we not see any, we not
It,
see that. So, well,
yes.
maybe.
I don't think. I think winning a World Cup cements everybody's ability to be classed as an elite, well, not an elite level footballer, but to be on a stage where you've contributed against the best players for every nation that's qualified for it or that could qualify for it. You have beat every other team, every other player. Yeah, so for me, it just cements players
Yeah.
to a level. You know what I mean? How many big people, like how many players get a lot more
I think
recognition?
where I think where the question kind of comes from as well is that you've obviously got players from smaller nations who will just never win the World Cup. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
I
And
mean,
there's
it's like
obviously,
Haaland, really, isn't it? Haaland's
yeah, Ireland.
Haaland's never going to win the World Cup with Norway.
Yeah,
Will that damage his career? Probably not. But then when you want to
yeah,
talk
yeah,
into a debate like the Ronaldo and Messi, then winning the World Cup has to play a factor in them because they play for elite level nations that always have elite
yeah, yeah,
level squads, and their contribution to that has to matter because everybody is looking at those to contribute towards them winning the ultimate glory. Because let's be real, winning the World Cup is the ultimate glory in football.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, I get it. I get what you're saying there. So, what's better to win as an individual, Champions League or Ballon d'Or?
If you'd have asked me this 5 or 6 years ago, I'd have said the Ballon d'Or.
But
But the recency, some of the winners in recent years has just fucking made that another joke of a competition. It's a fucking
get them named then.
disgrace.
Let's hear it.
Oh, I'm gonna have to have a look, but fucking, I know at least a couple of times recently. Let me just open it up. That a couple of times in recent years, I know for a fact that I've been like, what the
Well,
fuck?
to be fair, we've always had the debate when the Messi and the Haaland year. Um, I think what I don't like about the Ballon d'Or is it was always given to the best player in the world, and it doesn't seem to fall in that now. Like you can't. I'm not saying Dembele didn't deserve to win it, but you can't tell me he's the best player in the world. He may have had the best purple patch of a period
Yeah.
to
So
win it, but
that's sort of what I was sort of angling at. So like you say, last year, Dembele, best player in the world, no. Was his squad's achievements unbelievable? Yes.
well, that's it. Yeah,
Barcelona, Yamal, Vitinha, Rafinha, all probably could have won it. Yamal was probably should have won it if we're being
yeah.
honest. 2014, I mean Rodri won it. Fucking
Oh,
Rodri.
yeah.
Like
Don't get me started
like
on that.
I liked Rodri. What he did for City was
He's
fucking
a brilliant player.
ridiculous.
He's not the
But
best
you
player in the world.
fucking get a grip, man. Fucking get a grip.
He weren't even.
Vinny
Not only did he
Junior
not win the
was Vinny Junior like unbelievable that season. Did he finish second?
well, Real Madrid won the Champions League, yeah, that year, but Rodri weren't even Spain's best midfielder in the Euros.
No.
Fabian Ruiz was actually better than him.
Yeah. Then, like you say, the year
I know
before
Rodri
that,
won player of the tournament, but they were never going to give it to Fabian Ruiz. He was during that tournament, he was better than Rodri, 100%, 100%.
then you got the Haaland and obviously Messi won. Messi won it. Was that because off the back of the World Cup? Was that?
Yeah, that was the World Cup.
So,
Yeah,
but that's going back to the last point in it. The World Cup mattered in that because it made
yeah,
essentially
that's
thing.
the thing.
But if you want to talk about who was a fucking joke that year, Haaland was untouchable. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
untouchable.
mean, if Haaland would have won it, he'd have been a worthy winner.
and then
I mean, like,
and then the year before that, was that when Benzema won it? Is that when fucking Lewandowski?
yeah, I didn't mind Benzema winning.
Was that when
The one I
Lewandowski
think,
was like an absolute freak, or was that 2020
no,
when it was
I
not
think
given?
there was Lewandowski should have won it in 2020, but they didn't do it for COVID. I mean, one of the ones I'm thinking of is when Modric won it.
Modric, yeah.
You can't tell me he was best player in the world. I'm not like say he had an amazing year. He got to the World Cup final with Croatia. That is unbelievable. But like, he's not the best player in the world, and that's what the Ballon d'Or should have been awarded for.
Yeah. There was a year as well, was it? I think it was 21 when Messi won it. I think fucking Jorginho was like third. Fucking Jorginho.
Yeah. There was a thing when he was going to win it. Apparently, he's going to win it. But that's what I mean. It's not awarded now for the player's ability. It's awarded for, is it the best player in the team who's done the best? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, so for me, I'd think I'd rather win the Champions League than win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah. I mean, lots of players win the Champions League. Not many people win the Ballon d'Or, to be fair. But like you say, kind of where it's gone, the award in the past few years.
It just seems like the Champions League is just the pinnacle of club football, isn't it? It's like winning the World Cup of club football.
That forced to my next question. What's harder to win, Premier League or Champions League?
Champions League.
Interesting.
Actually,
even with the new format.
Actually, yeah.
You can be really shit and win the Champions League.
The thing is, with knockout football, you've always
I say that loosely as well.
You've always got that case, haven't you, that you can have one stinker of a game and it costs you the thing. I think my point to saying the Champions League there was probably like the level that you're playing at. Every team is an absolute joke. You know what I mean? There's no, I fucking say that there should be no 3-win. Especially when you get to sort of the knockout stages, although this new format has changed that a little bit.
I just think sometimes I look at like when Liverpool won it, Chelsea have won it twice. They shouldn't have been a big threat to win it.
Do you know what?
Even a couple of the Real Madrid wins, they weren't necessarily a great team.
Do you know what the problem with the Premier League is at the minute?
Go on then.
There's been too many runaway winners.
That's
diluted.
Well, yeah.
Like City's dominance for those years were like no one really contested them. All right, Liverpool pushed them close, but in the end, it never ended up being all that close.
There was about 3 seasons where they went.
Yeah, and it's even like last year.
Neck.
Did Liverpool win it in what fucking April last year? End of April?
Yeah, probably. I mean, they won it in January, really,
Well,
as well,
yeah.
effectively, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say that the Premier. This is going to sound
I think the
controversial.
Champions League means more, and it's just that little bit more prestigious than the Prem, doesn't it? It's like it's the season finale. We have a final game for it. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like it's the pinnacle game, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I think that's probably where people edge towards the Champions League. But yeah, I'd
Yeah.
probably,
I think you
I'd
have to be more consistent to win the Premier League, like you say.
yeah,
You have to be consistent over what is it, 40 games? 28,
yeah,
38
yeah.
games, yeah.
And then you're balancing around other comps as well and stuff. So
Yeah.
as
So,
opposed to just the Champions League, which is, I mean, it's quite easy to get through this the group now in this new Champions League format. I mean, PSG didn't even get automatic last year. They had like a bit of a stinker, didn't they, and had to go through the playoffs.
yeah, but then when they got to the knockout stages of it, I think they had quite a tough run, didn't they? And
Yeah,
just
well, they
walked away
played
with
played
it.
Liverpool. I mean, they played very, and then beat Arsenal, demolished Inter Milan in the final. Fucking hell. Um, so yeah, staying on with the Prem. Who is the most overrated player in the Premier League right now? And I've got my answer
Fucking.
locked already.
Can I say Granit Xhaka just to annoy Paul?
You can say whoever you like. Put your case forward.
Fucking overrated. Tough, you know. It's tough. Because there's a few players that jump up at the minute.
Yeah, get him named then. Let's hear him.
Bukayo Saka, for a start.
He's the one I had. He's the one I had,
I
which is a
don't.
shame.
Yeah, I don't get the hype around him. I don't know if he's playing injured or what, but he's been fucking shocking this year. And
I think Saka is a good player. He's brilliant for England. But I see Arsenal fans having him in like combined Prem 11s and having him in like world class status. And does Saka get into like old Man City teams and they have him ahead of Mahrez and Bale? And it's like,
yeah, it's fucking
he's nowhere
embarrassing,
near that
mate.
level.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Saka's a good player, and like,
They talk.
I take
They
United
talk
in a
about.
heartbeat.
They talk about him as that elite level player, but he isn't. Arsenal.
I honestly,
If right, so this is what I always say about Arsenal, right? If Odegaard plays in that team, Arsenal look 10 times more fluid than when he's not in that team. If Odegaard's not in that squad, there is no way Saka's winning them games.
I think Odegaard's another one. I think he's on the overrated list.
Maybe, but I
This
do
must be
think.
Arsenal fans.
But I do
Must be.
think Arsenal think, mate. One of the lads in Discord, the other day told me that Declan Rice is the best player in the Prem. Not the best midfielder, the best player. And I literally sat there looking at my screen like, what?
He's been one of the best players in the league this year. I don't think he's the best player in the league at all.
Fantastic player. I'm not knocking his ability. But is he the best player in the league? Is he fuck?
Yeah. No, I don't even think has Saka even had like a world class season yet where you're
No.
like, yeah, he's
No.
took and like, and when you've not won anything either.
Doesn't do it internationally either.
He does do well for England. I can give him that, to be fair. But
Mate.
like, I'm just thinking in the big moments now, I've not pictured Saka, and like I say, it seems Arsenal fans put him on this pedestal where he's better than Mahrez, he's better than Bale. He gets into like 08 United, gets into like Liverpool. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Well, that's a shame because I was really hoping you wouldn't say Saka because he was mine. Any others you can think of? I do think Odegaard is overrated.
To be honest,
well.
I don't think there's many at the minute. I think the league is so up and down at the minute that there isn't anyone really like.
Yeah, other than Haaland as well, there's not really, I'd say, many standout players. There's a lot of players who are kind of on a similar level, aren't
even
they?
your players like, Salah's had obviously a piss poor season, and that debate will always go: is he world class? Is he not? Does he produce enough? Is he technically a good footballer? Blah blah blah. So you can fall into that debate every day. But that's the one that just jumps out at me with Saka. To be fair, because like you say, the way that they put him on a pedestal is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. I think quite a few Arsenal fans seem to be overrating their own players, like Havertz. He's shit.
Mate,
Arsenal
do you,
fans seem to
do you know
like
what?
him.
Do you know what blows my mind about Arsenal? The fans more so. Like
Go on.
they go on like this big monster of a team, right? I think is Gabriel like their fucking second top goal scorer or something daft this year.
Well, that's the thing, right? Arsenal do have some brilliant players. Like, if you're gonna rep anybody, like Raya's been the best goal in the league this year with Donnarumma.
Yeah,
Gabriel and
Saliba,
Saliba are brilliant.
Calafiori's
Calafiori's been
stepped
brilliant.
up. Yeah,
Timber brilliant. Rice brilliant. So, like,
but that's where Arsenal win their games for me. They win it at
yeah,
that back thing. How many times have Arsenal gone into a game and blown a team away this season? They never do because their fucking forwards are bang average. Like
yeah.
they haven't. Gyökeres
Well,
shit.
Gyökeres is shit. Yeah.
Marino shit. Zubamendi average. Fucking
Martinelli's
Martinelli.
fell off the cliff.
Martinelli can
He
have
had
a
that one
purple
decent
patch.
year.
Yeah, he'll have a purple
Yeah.
patch, and he'll look
He's
like fucking prime Maradona for 2 games, and then he'll look like me trying to play on left wing. Madueke, fuck all. Trossard
yeah.
comes off the bench after about 4 months and scores fucking 4 games
They
back
all
to
like.
back.
They all like.
None
all
of them are
chip in, don't
consistent.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I know
then,
what you're
but the only
saying.
thing that's constant every week is that you can guarantee that Gabriel is going to score from a corner.
Yeah, and they'll probably only concede 1.
Fucking
Then we'll
shit
keep
fan
issue.
base. Fucking shit fan base, honestly. Fucking
Well,
delusion.
on that, because I've got loads more stuff I want to ask you, and I'm conscious of time. We're only at 45 minutes. We're moving on from football then, obviously. That was all football related. I've got a few questions that are different sports and just generic sports questions as well. I wasn't going to ask this. It's quite a tough one off the cuff, really, but I'll ask you anyway. And following on from overrated, who is the most overrated sports star in the world since the year 2000? So you you've got some to pick off there.
I tell you what, I tell you who's fucking overrated for me at the minute, and a lot of people argue about it, is fucking Harry Brook for the England cricket team.
All right, yeah.
Put on the pedestal.
I'm trying to think of one
being
now.
the next greatest
it's
player, and he's just got a fucking brain dead. Plays like a fucking.
Who's that? Oh, Brook.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of footballers.
Yeah. Pogba, maybe. Pogba was put
Bit
on a
harsh for a
pedestal.
world star, though, isn't it?
Fucking world star.
There must be. No, but I mean, like, there must be some like bigger names in all of sport who are like. Oh, it's tough, innit?
Yeah. I don't know, to be honest.
I'll tell you, I always thought was a fraud, and he's proved me wrong in the last few years. Was Temba Bavuma. Honestly, the amount of games he used to play and not get runs was frightening. But I mean, he's captain South Africa to the World Test Championship now, so I can. He's off my fraud list now. To be fair, Bavuma.
I've got one that would cause controversy because I know for a fact you'll bite straight at it. Neymar.
Oh no! Come on, Neymar's not overrated.
He is overrated.
I'm not having that.
Fucking. Literally blew up because he did some fucking stepovers for a Brazilian club.
Neymar was good, man. Neymar was good.
He had a grip.
No, Neymar was good. Neymar was good. I don't think he were overrated.
That's interesting.
What about Mahomes? Because he's put on a pedestal as like the next big thing, and like I know he's got a couple of Super Bowls, but he's also had a few losses in there as well, and it seems every year, Mahomes best quarterback, and then he's had 2 big injuries as well. So,
yeah, he's a bit of a stinker, to be fair, this year. Yeah, there's a few in the NFL, you know, that can sort of go on that level. Jalen Hurts is another one. Jalen Hurts had a fucking ridiculous year last year. Took the Eagles to win a Super Bowl. This year, can't throw a ball. They've teams have figured out how to stop the Saquon Barkley rush, and he's just shite. But yeah, Mahomes lost a few weapons this year, a few people injured and whatnot. But yeah, no, you're probably right there. I don't get this overall hype where they were putting him on Brady levels of
Manning
he'll
levels
be
and
the,
stuff
yeah.
like that,
No, it's hard off the top.
It's
without
a tough question. That, to be fair, you'd have to have a real think about this one. One you wouldn't have to have a think about, because I know you're off the cuff. We're moving on to a completely different sport and topic now. Should the first Groves Frotch fight Should that have been stopped?
It was stopped early, but it was heading to the same conclusion within 20, 30 seconds. So, um,
Do you reckon? I
yeah,
do think Froch was gassing a little bit. He was just swinging.
yeah,
I
it
do.
was. But the thing is, right? Groves wasn't throwing back, and his head is down. He's
Yeah,
open to shots, and
I get it.
for the punishment that he took prior to that and what he was leading to there, all it took was one clean shot. And for the quantity that we was
Yeah.
taking and not throwing back and not reacting, then that looked like that was coming sooner rather than later. And
Do kind of think in some ways though. I know we've spoke about Dubois when he went down. Was it against Joyce
uh,
or Zhang?
was it not Usyk the first time?
No, I'm on about when he busted
With
his
the
eye.
eye, Joyce, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. It
Joyce.
was George, right. I know we spoke about Dubois when he went out there, but I do think in world title fights, I do think fighters are allowed to go out on the sword a little bit there. Because don't get me wrong, like I'm not taking any away from, but like in a British fight or a European title fight, whatever, or an undercard fight, I'm happy to fighters to throw the towel in or call it quits, whatever. In world title fights, though, I do think there's an element of this is it, kind of go out on your sword almost.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And
I'd have rather have seen Froch actually do knock him out then, and then there's no question marks around it. I know we got the second fight and Froch did the business then, and to be fair, he was the better fighter in the second fight before the knockout. So,
yeah,
but I
I
thought in
mean,
that first fight that was a harsh stoppage in a world title fight, in
I
my
mean,
opinion.
I'm very critical of boxing anyway. I think there is a lot that boxing can do to change in terms of it. But at the minute, it's like you say, that's a separate subject for the state of boxing. Uh, um, but like you say, off the back of these moments come like great moments.
Yeah,
So without that controversial stoppage and the questioning, if it goes 20 seconds later, Froch never becomes this big guy,
yeah.
and
Well,
that
we never
puts.
have like a sellout at Wembley, do we?
Yeah,
If that,
and then from that, does Joshua sell out Wembley? Because that was the first real big stadium fight
yeah,
in the
yeah.
modern era. So yeah, um,
Yeah, stuff came from it, but I just think in that moment, I felt
I think
Groves
Groves.
was
I
the
think,
better fighter through the fight, and then
mate,
to stop it,
Groves, what Groves did in that fight was unbelievable. He won that fight before that. Well, he was winning that fight before that fight even stepped in the ring. He got under Froch's skin. He told everything he was going to do. He did. He had Froch just fucking fighting off pure anger rather than like fighting a sensible thing. Froch has said
yeah.
that he walked into that fight underprepared because he thought, "Who the fuck's this kid? I'm just going to go in there and do the business. I've just been rounds with like great fighters, and won my belt obviously in America on American soil." And Groves did the business and then stuck him on his arse, which is pretty much unheard of.
I think one of the things with Groves as well is he said as well if the roles were reversed, if that were Groves swinging at Froch and he weren't defending, there's no way it'd have been stopped because he's obviously had that reputation of having a granite chin
Yeah,
and all
which
that.
is
So
fine. But then, like you say, that probably, if you look at it from George Groves' perspective, he probably feels robbed of a great night because does he get through it? Does he? Like you say, you never know. We'll never know. But for me, yes, the stoppage was early, but it looked like the inevitable was coming. So
fair enough. And okay, so I've got now just a few more. Which one shall I ask now? Oh, go on, I'll ask this one. We haven't spoke about cricket much, so I'll ask this one. Is the IPL ruining international cricket?
no.
Interesting, because my first thought was a bit yes.
Well, go on, give me
And the
your
reason,
reason why, and I'll counter argue it.
because too many players now of the lower level international teams, and say that with a great respect because there's some great test nations, but I'm thinking like the Windies, the Pakistan, Sri Lankans, and even some of our players to an extent, because there was Duckett who was prioritising franchise cricket as well. they're all prioritising franchise cricket now because that's where ultimately the money is, except for the English lads, the Aussie lads, and the Indian lads. So, while I think the IPL can elevate their skills and their fundamental games, and obviously they're playing with different players, aren't they, all over the world now, which I think is brilliant. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of players and a lot of the who they're playing for, they're not prioritising their international cricket. And I think that's shown with a lot of the West Indies teams as well,
Yeah.
and Sri Lanka's, Bangladesh's, etc.
So I do see your point there, but at the same time, on that, what opportunities realistically is there for these players of these smaller nations like the West Indies, Sri Lanka, like you say, the smaller nations? They don't play enough international cricket over all the formats for them to be like in the public eye, and the problem with cricket isn't so much the IPL, it's the boards that run each individual country, or like,
Yeah,
because everybody knows that the only three countries that really have the money is Australia, England, and India. Like
yeah.
even it's realistically quite amazing how teams like South Africa and New Zealand continue to
Well,
push
exactly.
the boat because
Yeah.
they don't
Well,
have
look
the
at like
funding, but they must have a pretty good backing system where the thing. But you could, I always say
well,
this.
look at Trent Bolt and like Lockie Ferguson and Jimmy Neesham. They've all sacked off international cricket to go and play franchise cricket and make the money, right? If New Zealand would play the volume of tests that England play, or you can't compare it to India because you're competing against 1.5 billion people. I get that, but like it just seems like South Africa, New Zealand, who have got immense pedigree of sport, of cricket, rugby, same as Australia. Why are their players going? Why are they not getting the support of their um, international council? But then, like we in Australia, like why is it just? I don't know. It's just you just don't want to see players fobbing off playing for their country and playing Test cricket, do you?
But at the
Really?
same time, people have to live, and
Yeah, yeah. No, I
and
get that.
and I get it, and
They're not
I'm
playing.
as
They're not
passionate.
being paid pennies, are they?
No, they're not. But the West Indies players are going to be being paid pennies, and the Sri Lankans are probably getting pennies. They're not earning big checks and paying big events and big tournaments, and you can't knock people, players like Shiope and people like that have stepped away from
Oh
international.
no, I'm not knocking them. I'm knocking the councils and the international boards around them, saying why are they not why are they not getting more support or more funding or whatever? Because like they should be. I mean, the West Indian teams and the South African teams of the old, and even South Africa like 10, 15 years ago, they were world number one. New Zealand, they've been in 2 World Cup finals in 2015. They've won the World Test Championship. It's like, and their best players are going over to play franchise cricket.
But
I
yeah,
don't think that's right. But like you say,
but I
it's
do
not the
get it.
IPL.
It's not the IPL's fault. The IPL have just got the biggest platform, so they're the ones that people are always going to scrutinise. And to be fair, they franchise cricket now across all sports is going to. The next few years will be massive for franchise
Yeah,
cricket
it's getting bigger as well, isn't it?
because like the 100 now has become franchised, so you're getting the likes of your super giants, your Mumbai's they're coming over, and they're not like, obviously in South Africa, in the Caribbean leagues, you already have like I don't know, I don't really follow it, so but you have like a so and so super giants, say like a fucking Durbanville super giants, or you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
that
Well, look at like some of the IPL teams and the IPL franchises and
They're leaking into other.
shareholders,
They're just
they've done
leaking
it
into
into
every
South
sport.
Africa, haven't they? I think
Yeah,
they're doing it into the UAE
the
now as
ML,
well. So
the MLC, Major League Cricket in America.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And I think they have brought into the 100 this year as well, haven't they? I think
yeah.
like Manchester are called Manchester Superchargers or whatever they're called this year. So
Well, that
in the next
yeah,
few years, that question will be a lot more relevant than it is now.
yeah. Which kind of brings me on to the next question. Are you a fan of state ownership in sport? And would you ever support Liverpool being state owned?
I'm not bothered by it. It's a hard one because you're not just touching on subjects of money. If it was a case of a state ownership was coming in, say the Saudis at Newcastle, etc., etc., if they came in, loads of money, we're going to spend the money, I've got no issue with it. The problem comes with the human rights that follow it. So obviously the big thing when Newcastle was taken over was obviously a lot of stuff was said about the way things happen to women, people being murdered, the way that countries like this are run. I don't want to go too in depth with it because I'm not fully educated on it to be talking about political things or religion or the way that countries run. But that's what you have to look at when you look at states owning sports clubs. So in terms of the Saudis coming in buying Newcastle, for me, I think they should be able to come in, buy Newcastle, spend all the money they've got. Richest club in the world, they should be able to spend the money they've got because that is who's brought them. That's my view on it. I've got no issue on it. Yes, there is regulations, and there probably should be regulations to level the playing field a little bit. But in terms, I think some of them, as we've discussed with like Newcastle before, Newcastle should be allowed to do what City did, where if Newcastle want to go and spend 500 million this year and buy a super team, then they should be allowed to do it, right?
I think my thing on state ownership is that I'm not a fan of state ownership, but what I don't mind is if, let's just say, some Qatari businessman or some Saudi businessman wants to buy a football club, I think that's fine. It's a free market. But I think when it gets into states and countries, I think that's kind of where I
Yeah,
draw a line on it
I
personally.
I don't know enough about it to give you a proper opinion based on
Yeah.
the few situations I do know. Then,
What I
like I
would like
say,
to say as well is I know what you've said about it gets into different politics and stuff like that, but we as sport and as society have been taking money from the Middle East. I'm going to use them as an example in every walk of sport. So look at the Anthony Joshua fights. They've been in Saudi Arabia. We've just had a football World Cup in Qatar. We've got Man City owned by an Abu Dhabi fund. We've got Newcastle owned by Saudi Arabia. We've had cricket World Cups in the UAE. We've had F1 races in Saudi Arabia, in Bahrain, in Qatar. I'm sure there's been probably UFC fights in the Middle East.
yeah.
Do you know, we've had the Live Golf.
Well,
We've had
when COVID happened, the UFC basically moved to the UAE because it was the only place where they could be sanctioned to fight.
We've had DP World Tour events in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, in Saudi Arabia. I think even some basketball teams went out to the Middle East in pre-season or whatever. So look, we in sport have been taking money off the Middle East for decades now. I'm sure you could probably think of maybe other examples where we've done it as well. But I mean, the World Cup's going to Saudi Arabia.
Do you know the thing is, right? I have no issue with it as long as the playing field is fair. If Josh, I'm going to use boxing as an example because it's the one that I understand the most, right? Usyk obviously can't fight in Ukraine, hasn't really got a set home. He can go out and fight Tyson Fury in the UAE, which In terms of atmosphere, it's probably not as big as it would be at Wembley. In terms of numbers of like people, it's probably not as big as it is at Wembley. But the fighters are getting paid, and everyone involved in the event, including the undercards, are getting a significant amount of money and earning some cash, right?
Yeah.
No issues with it. But if Joshua comes to fight Fury and that fight is made in Saudi Arabia, that's taking the piss. And that's where it becomes an issue for me, because if you start robbing the countries that, if you start robbing the people of the fans of the sport of the country where everyone is expected to see it, especially in boxing, because boxing in America and boxing in the UK is massive compared to boxing anywhere else on the planet, right? So if you take the big fights away from those places, you are going to lose sport, and you're going to lose viewers, you're going to lose fans. It's going to be thing, and then it doesn't matter how much of a boxer's paid if no one's watching it. You know what I mean? And then I know money in Saudi is ridiculous. Turkey Al-Sheikh is only going to keep throwing money at something for so long, and if that starts falling away, he's going to soon pull his money away because he's got no. He's fucking minted. He's not bothered about what it's making. He's doing it out of pure enjoyment of making, of being God. That is basically what Turkey Al-Sheikh is doing. He's being God, big God of the boxing world.
I have not got a problem with, like you say, the athletes and the sports stars going to make their money. I'm all for it. I just think where I kind of, I don't know if I say draw the line, but it's like people may be taking a bit of a moral high ground on these kind of things, and fair enough. But I just think in some ways we've been taking money off them for that long now in sports. I mean, I'd forgot even about the Saudi leagues. Look at all the players who've gone to there. So I like back to the original question. I'm not necessarily a fan of clubs being state owned, in kind of anything really, whatever state. But I'm happy for whatever businessman. It's a free market if they want to own a football club, good luck to them. Just final two then, really. They're kind of sort of similar questions, really. VAR, or is the human error just a part of the game? And then on that, should a referee be suspended for a major mistake?
Couple of things to cover there. I would have no issue with VAR if human error still wasn't causing issues. So
Right, okay.
So if you had a decision, right, so player's offside, goes through, scores, flag goes up, flag doesn't go up, right, goes to VAR make the decision, and then like the Wirtz one the other week, he's offside, he's fucking miles offside, and it's just like that. It's just a negligence of human error again, where the decision is wrong. So you've brought a technology in. You've brought a technology in to cut out human error, and then human error is causing issues with technology. Same in cricket the other week with the Snicko. Like,
well, that was a technology issue, that was a firm technology issue.
So I'm a big fan of technology. If technology is like, if technology takes away human error, which it doesn't.
I'm going back to the last World Cup. I can't really remember. I just think the last World Cup and the last Euros, and I'm even thinking of the Champions League with the foreign refs. There never seems to be any controversy around VAR. It just seems to be our refs, and in the Premier League where there's the problem.
Yeah, agreed. Personally, though, I think once you start throwing too much into sport, you start diluting it. And I think VAR is one of those things that has diluted my love for football, because I'm sick of watching slow games where something happens, you stood waiting for 5-10 minutes, you can clearly see an error or something, and then it happens anyway. So from my perspective, it's diluted my interest in footballs. For me, if you're not, like I say, if you're not getting rid of human error, you might as well just scrap it. And and I just love the raw passion of sport. I love the fact, like, someone can say someone runs through, right, and it's a close 50-50, but he's right on the edge of the box. The ball's played through, he takes a snapshot, the ball goes in, the crowd jump up, but the linesman stood there with the flag, right?
Yeah.
And the crowd go from, yeah, to, oh, fucking hell, it's offside. Buzzing.
Yeah.
That's sport. That's excitement. That's everything you want to see. That's what you want as a fan. As a fan, you're like, oh, fucking hell, you've gone from that high to that low. But this is why you do it as a fan. You are buzzing for sport. It's everything you want to see. These human errors contribute to excitement, contribute to everything you want to see. You start adding technology in it, and then, like you say, so you can then go from, yeah, to, oh, this is being checked. Oh, fucking hell. Thing. 5 minutes later, goal. Oh, yeah. Woo, fucking hell. 1-0. Yeah. Woo, fucking excitement's gone. Moment's gone. It's dead.
I do think if VAR wasn't having the controversy every week around it, then that's fine, because then you're getting objective decisions that are correct every week, and that's what it was brought in for.
Yeah, but
and it's not really worked out like that.
But objective decisions, like I say, are what make sport interesting. You could do a 50-50 challenge and you see it as a red card. I don't see it as a red card. But that's what creates debate. That's what creates topic. And all we argue now is over a system that doesn't work. And
well, that was going to be the next thing.
I just want sport to be sport. That's all I want. And like I say, my love for football has gone.
Well, in other sports, they seem to have cracked their DRS or referral systems or whatever. I'm thinking rugby do it well, tennis do it well. Obviously, I know cricket has fundamentally had its problems, but normally that works fine, considering how many times it's used a game. And you think football, the richest sport, the most popular, the best sport, it's still not cracked it, which is a shame, really.
Just too many people, mate. Too many people, too many different rules, too many different sets. Like in cricket, obviously that's what we've had this time with cricket, that Australia use a different DRS technology different snicker technology to the rest of the world. So why? Because it works everywhere else in the world. So why have you caused a controversy by being different? If you're going to have the technology, use the same technology that everybody uses. Don't trial something in this country and then not do it in another country. Just use what works. If you're going to use technology, use what works. If not, go back to passion of human error of sport, because people will make decisions based off that. And like you say, it's like with football now. There's been like red cards where they show it in slow-mo where a player's come in and he's hit the top of the ball, and because he's hit the top of the foot, it's bounced off and hit him in the shin. It's just not a red card. He's hit the ball, it's thing, but you've slowed it down and it's a potential leg breaker. Fuck off.
Well, I think on that, mate, I've asked all my questions. Is there anything you maybe wanted to fire back, get my view on or whatever, or?
No, mate, to be fair, I think we've taught the topics pretty well this week. I think it's been very enjoyable, actually, to rather than covering everything that goes off, to just get some opinions on sport. The one that I will throw to you that I just want to ask you, and it basically comes off the back of your question, is: do you feel that raw emotion of sport has gone now?
I do. I do a lot in just everything in sport seems very robotic these days. It's like, and that kind of goes for every sport now. It's like they go to training or they go to the gym or whatever, or they go home, they do the massages, they do the yoga, they do the stretches, they eat healthy, and then they do the same every day, and then they go to their sporting match or tournament or whatever, and it's just all media centered.
Do you know what
media trained.
So based off what you're saying here, do you know when they first started bringing like the All or Nothing series out, or like the test where they started following people and doing things like that? That insight behind the scenes was fucking incredible. I used to be buzzing for it. Like when they first brought the Sunderland one out, my love for NFL started by watching the All or Nothing series on the LA Rams, hence why I support the Rams. That's how it all started, that inside, and then I learned a sport, and that's why I have so much love for the NFL now, because whilst the NFL uses technology, everything is still semi-decided by 7 or 8 referees on a field, and
Yeah.
coaches can then, like you say, challenge a ruling or can think, but there's certain rules that can't be challenged, or there's certain things that when it's done, it
I just
goes.
think, yeah, just back to your kind of question. I just think everybody's in sport these days is either they're just a pure athlete or they're a business as well.
You
So they can't put a hair out of
you
line, and there's just no character about them.
well
There's no
you will
relatability to them.
you will never get a Tom Brady story again in the NFL. If you are a quarterback not taken in the first or second round, there is no Tom Brady story anymore. They will not even see squads. They will go to a practice squad, and they'll be cut from the practice squad within first month of
Yeah.
being there. And
Yeah, I think that's just my thing. There seems to be not many characters in sport these days, and
it's all media
um,
centric though, isn't it? And social media is a big
exactly.
problem. Social media is a big problem with that. Players can't do
Of
anything. You
course,
can't
yeah.
see, like, silly little things like the picture of Rooney when he was asleep in the room in Derby with those 2 girls. And everything's just done now to scrutinise people. The England lads having a pint in Noosa, Ben Duckett being fucking recorded by an Englishman trying to drop him in the shit. Like, this is everything
Well,
that's
that's what I
wrong with
mean. Yeah,
sport, because these players and things now have to live like robots because they can't get away from it. You know what I mean?
and like sports science and like data analysis has just took all like decision making and all I don't know all flair and all character out of the sports as well
Yeah,
for me.
I I genuinely wonder at grassroots sports at all levels, how many talents don't get to be where they are because of like their physical attributes, like you say. So someone might not be able to do in the NFL might not be able to do a 40-yard dash in 4.5 seconds, 5 seconds, or someone that looks a little bit like Rakeem Cornwall trying to play cricket coming through the academy is just not going to be a thing. Samit Patel's the prime example of that. Samit Patel in his prime should have easily played for cricket, but didn't have should have played for England, but England didn't have the fitness. So you get dropped because you're not good enough. You don't fit the image of the mould. Like, how many kids
Yeah,
and grassroots players with unbelievable talent get dropped because they can't match the physical look that is required now? And I bet you it's a fucking big number.
well, we've kind of alluded to it. There's that much money now in sport, particularly in football, but just every sport. They don't. Nobody takes a chance now,
No,
which is a shame. 'Cause
nobody.
like you say, you've lost the characters and
You
stuff out of the sports.
you
So
aren't a player anymore. You are a brand. That's how it.
yeah,
That's how it is. And I mean, even silly little things like I took the piss early, but like Granit Xhaka now. One of my favourite things about watching Granit Xhaka was him at Arsenal flying into a challenge and knowing he's going to get booked every week.
yeah,
And it just doesn't do it anymore. And yes, you can say he's grown older and he's grown wiser and his thing, but he's probably gone to buy Leverkusen and Xabi Alonso's been like, right, if you get booked this week, you're fined, or you've done this, or he's getting hammered in the press because he's a liability. And then the fans start turning on him like they did at Arsenal because he's chucked the armband on the floor. There is no character, there is no thing, and it's the same in fighting and the UFC. There hasn't been another Conor McGregor, and you get all the rip-offs that are trying to be like him, but it's just fabricated. There's thing, all the fake beef in boxing, and then at the end of the fight they're
yeah,
shaking hands. It was refreshing to see the Eubanks and Ben fight recently because they genuinely dislike each other, and whilst they respect each other, you knew that once that fight was done, they'd touch hands and that'd be done. They're not going to go into real life and start a fucking friendship and a partnership and go into business together. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Everything
yeah,
follows
yeah,
a trend now of a business or what can be made out of a situation rather than just being authentic.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, mate. Authenticity. I think that's the word there, and that
Yeah.
seems to be what's gone out of sport there. So, do you want to wrap it up now? It's been a good
Yeah,
episode.
I've enjoyed that, mate. Thank you very much. We'll do a bit more on this as things like this as well, where we start some debates rather than just talking about what's happened in the week and whatnot, and we'll talk some controversial subjects going forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, very enjoyable, mate. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I'm going to go and watch the end of the football now and probably lose my head at it. But no, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and turn your notifications off. Turn them on so you don't miss an episode. Keep an eye out for the shorts. They've been getting a bit of traction recently from some of the comments. So, yeah, thanks, Alex, and I'll see you soon.
Perfect. Thank you, Devon.